In this short video, we will show you something most people don't realize about what causes us to trip and fall and how to avoid this dangerous hazard. Slips, trips, and falls constitute the majority of general industry accidents and result in back injuries, strains and sprains, contusions, and fractures. A trip happens when your foot or lower leg hits an object and stops, but your upper body continues moving, resulting in loss of balance. But first, let's understand one very important thing that we all have in common. Can you tell what it is? When a person takes a step, their foot comes off the ground about half an inch before it steps back down again. Therefore, anything that sticks up a half inch or more can cause you to trip, and then your momentum can cause you to fall. If you're lucky, you'll walk away with a few bumps and bruises, but for the not so lucky, falls result in 15% of all accidental deaths and are second only to motor vehicles as a cause of fatalities. What did you trip over the last time you fell? People tend to trip over things that we see all the time but don't normally notice. Things like a slightly curled up edge of a carpet or mat, extension cords, uneven walking surfaces like cracks in sidewalks or other walking surfaces, thresholds in doorways, tools, even those cute little pets snoozing in doorways cause hundreds of falls every day. Can you spot the trip hazards in this photo? Here's one where the surface changes elevation about an inch, and another change in elevation. Would you see this one? And two more changes in elevation, each more than half an inch. Anywhere you see a crack in a walking surface lurks a potential trip hazard. This is a joint in the sidewalk. Hard to see, but the difference here is almost 3/4 of an inch, more than enough to cause a fall. But can you see the other hazard? Here, almost invisible, but the crack should be enough to warn you. The elevation here changes only slightly, but enough to cause a hazard. We can get so used to hazards we forget they're there. This one was painted yellow, but it's been scuffed over so many times it's getting harder to see. A common type of hazard is any area where one type of walking surface ends and another begins, like where carpeting meets tile, or the edge of a parking lot. Sharp, unexpected changes in elevation are particularly dangerous. This one's much bigger than half an inch. A warning could save a terrible injury or even a life, maybe your own. A simple door threshold sticks up enough to trip anyone walking in or out. Hazards hide in plain sight, especially if the lighting is bad or if we are doing something that blocks our vision. Pay attention. If you're walking and texting, reading, daydreaming, or doing anything other than not paying attention to where your feet are going, you might as well be walking blindfolded because your eyes are not working for you, they're distracted. You can avoid injury because tripping and falling is preventable. Keep in mind that it's the little things we don't normally look for that can hurt us the most. As you're walking today, how many trip hazards can you spot? At work, at home, in the parking lot, or wherever you go. Remember, it only takes half an inch to change your day for the worse. Use your eyes and be aware of those little trip hazards as you walk. Thanks for watching.
What is HACCP? HACCP stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point. It's a food safety management system that aims to proactively identify food safety hazards and come up with steps to reduce or eliminate potential hazards from food production to food consumption. Implementing a HACCP system involves developing a plan that follows the 7 HACCP principles, which are as follows. Principle number 1. Conduct a hazard analysis. Hazard analysis is carried out in 2 stages. 1. Identifying and listing the potential biological, chemical, or physical hazards associated with the production process. And 2. Evaluate hazards based on severity and likely occurrence. Upon completion of the 2 stages, a control measure is made to prevent the hazards. Principle number 2. Determine the critical control points, CCPs. A CCP is a step in the production process where there is an opportunity to prevent, mitigate, or completely eliminate a food safety hazard. A CCP decision tree can assist in determining whether a control point is a CCP. Principle number 3. Establish critical limits. Once you determine which steps are a CCP, you now have to establish critical limits for each identified CCP. A critical limit is the minimum and maximum value for the control measure at a critical control point to establish what is safe and acceptable. Principle number 4. Establish monitoring procedures. Monitoring CCPs on a regular basis helps determine if there's a deviation from the CCP or a loss of control. In monitoring CCPs, it's important to determine 1. What should be monitored? Could it be the food product's temperature, weight, pH levels, or more? 2. How should it be measured? What tools should be used? 3. How frequent should the monitoring be? 4. Who is the responsible person to perform this? Principle number 5. Establish corrective actions. Corrective actions are the steps to be followed every time there is a deviation from a critical limit. Principle number 6. Establish verification procedures. Validate if the HACCP system is producing the intended results. Examples of verification activities include product testing, in-plant observations, instrument calibration, and log reviews. Principle number 7. Establish record-keeping and documentation procedures. A detailed HACCP plan serves as evidence that the food is indeed safe and has undergone critical procedures to cover all possible risks. Using digital checklists can be very useful to materialize and execute your HACCP plan. A seamless execution of HACCP in your organization can be possible by utilizing modern technology.
Food safety can be defined as handling, preparing, and storing foods or drink in a way that best reduces the risk of consumers becoming sick from foodborne disease. The principles of food safety aim to prevent food from becoming contaminated and causing food poisoning. With this in mind, ensuring that food is safe for human consumption is likely the most critical part of the food preparation process. This ranges from what is called farm to fork, meaning from the farms all the way to your plate. This means that food safety is important at home as well as in the restaurant, retail store, or food factory. There has become an ever-increasing awareness of food safety by the general public, and news agencies are reporting on food recalls and outbreaks much more often. Reviewing the available stats, the CDC estimates that each year 48 million people get sick from a foodborne illness, 128,000 are hospitalized, and 3,000 die from food poisoning in the US each year. Food safety is clearly a global concern that covers a variety of different areas of everyday life. The principles of food safety aim to prevent food from becoming contaminated and causing food poisoning. Food safety can be achieved in 5 basic pillars: proper cleaning and sanitizing of all surfaces, equipment, and utensils, maintaining a high level of personal hygiene, especially hand washing, keeping foods cold when needed and keeping foods hot when required, storing foods in a way that prevents cross-contamination, and cooking, reheating, and cooling of foods, as well as the prevention of cross-contamination during the preparation process. Food safety is important for the following reasons. If food or drink is not safe to eat, you cannot eat or drink. The easiest example of this is safe drinking water. We would never drink water that did not come from a reputable source. The very same principle applies to food. Every day, people worldwide get sick from food or drink they consume. Bacteria, viruses, and parasites found in food can cause food poisoning. There is no immediate way of telling if food is contaminated because you cannot see it, taste it, or smell anything different from the norm. Food poisoning can lead to gastroenteritis and dehydration, or even potentially even more serious health problems such as kidney failure and death. The risk is especially significant for those in the high-risk category, which includes small children or babies, pregnant moms, the elderly, immunocompromised, especially HIV infections, and cancer patients. So food hygiene and food safety prevent germs from multiplying in foods and reaching dangerous levels, ensures daily healthy family living, and keeping one healthy and preventing the additional cost of buying medication and medical checkups. This is especially important in business, where companies worldwide lose billions of dollars per year due to staff downtime. Hand washing accounts for 33% of all related food poisoning cases. It is therefore important to maintain good personal hygiene practices. This is something we are taught early in our childhood, yet hand washing is still a critical problem in the kitchen. Cross-contamination is a major cause of food poisoning and can transfer bacteria from one food to another, usually raw foods to ready-to-eat foods. Good food hygiene is therefore essential for food factories to make and sell food that is safe to eat.
If you are in cheese production, you know the accurate analysis of fat, protein, carbohydrates, and casein is important. By controlling these constituents, a cheese production facility can 1. Save money, 2. Increase yield, and 3. Ensure product quality. At receiving, a lactoscope FTIR will help processors screen incoming milk for fat, protein, lactose, total solids, added water, and more. IR light is passed through the sample, and the detector calculates the sample's IR absorbance profile to quantify component values. When it's time to standardize milk for the cheese vat, the lactoscope FTIR is indispensable for calculating the required ratio of skim cream and adjusting protein levels. The DA7250 benchtop NIR can be used to test curd in the vat and cheese for component values. Then, an over-the-belt DA7440 NIR can be used as a final quality check to detect excess moisture prior to packaging. From milk intake to curd cutting, all the way to packaging, technology solutions for cheese optimization are critical.
Welcome to this presentation on coliforms in the dairy industry. Today we will explore what coliforms are, how they contaminate dairy products, their impact on human health and product quality, and how to control them effectively. Coliforms are a group of bacteria naturally present in water, soil, and the intestinal tracts of warm-blooded animals. While many coliforms are harmless, their detection in dairy products signals potential contamination and unsanitary conditions in the production process. Coliform contamination in dairy products can occur through multiple pathways. These include contaminated raw materials, improper personal hygiene among staff, insufficient cleaning of equipment, and the use of contaminated water during production. Coliforms themselves typically do not cause illness. However, their presence acts as a warning sign of possible fecal contamination. This suggests a risk of more dangerous pathogens, which could threaten consumer health if not addressed promptly. Beyond health risks, coliform contamination can seriously impact product quality. Gas formation may cause cheese to develop cracks, swelling, or surface deformations. Off odors and undesirable flavors are also common. Additionally, contaminated products have a significantly shorter shelf life. Preventing coliform contamination requires strict hygiene protocols. This includes thorough sanitation of all equipment, continuous monitoring of water quality, and comprehensive staff training to ensure best practices are consistently followed throughout production. Coliforms are essential indicators of hygiene and process control in the dairy industry. By identifying and addressing contamination risks early, producers can maintain high standards of quality and protect consumer health.
Because milk is a highly perishable product, it needs to get from the cow to the customer as soon as possible. This generally takes between 2 to 3 days. At the farm, the milk truck driver takes a sample of the product, records the milk temperature, and tracks how much milk comes from each farm. Raw milk arrives in insulated milk trucks at this processing plant, maintaining a temperature of less than 6 degrees Celsius during the trip. The milk receiving area is kept isolated from the rest of the processing plant to prevent any chance of cross-contamination. Certified milk receivers and lab technicians conduct many tests on incoming product. Only after staff in the lab review and approve the tests is the milk unloaded into stainless steel storage silos, equipped with cooling systems. Before staff step onto the processing floor, they are fully equipped with food safety gear. This includes a sanitary coat and hairnet, and beard net if applicable. Staff are also required to wash their hands at hands-free washing stations whenever entering different processing areas throughout the plant. Processing in this plant is fully enclosed. From the time the milk is received to the moment a consumer opens a carton, dairy products are entirely sealed from the outside environment. Sterilized stainless steel pipes carry the milk throughout the entire plant, and automated cleaning systems are used on every surface that is exposed to milk. At each stage of the process, computers are communicating with each other, and staff are monitoring the progress. Quality control tests are conducted at every stage of processing.
We test for antibiotics, for traces of antibiotics. We test temperature. We test for off odor. We do a visual test prior to receiving.
We take sample from each product is made through the process and at the end of the process to make sure it's safe for our customers.
In the rare instance of a quality issue, the plant's quality control team could use the lot code to trace the milk in question to the load from which it was received. This enables the processing team to quickly isolate the source of a potential problem.
Our employees are trained annually on food safety, food security, and also on good manufacture practices.
Before the quality control team in this plant will release the finished product, samples are tested to ensure quality. All finished product samples are subjected to heat stress tests, where lab technicians will measure the stress samples for the presence of bacteria.
If there's one thing I would like customers to know about milk they drink, it is safe.
Cheese is great food and it's good to eat for so many reasons. It contains vitamins, calcium, protein, minerals, and saturated fats, which are very good for us.
You can be confident that your milk is safe and quality assured. So pour a glass with your next meal and enjoy the quality, purity, and great taste of Canadian milk.
When a typical cylinder is filled to its design pressure of 2400 psi, it will contain almost 300 cubic feet of atmospheric pressure gas, or about 160 times the internal volume of the cylinder. This compression of gas represents a tremendous amount of stored energy. If the outlet valve is broken off, the sudden release of compressed gas can turn the cylinder into a missile with energy to shoot through a cinder block wall. In one reported incident, a damaged cylinder penetrated 2 sheet metal walls before becoming airborne and exiting through the roof. The tank reached an altitude of 140 feet before falling back through the building's roof a second time. When a steel cylinder becomes a projectile, it can move with great force, at high speeds, and in unpredictable directions, with the potential to cause serious or fatal injuries.
One of our back safety videos is called the High Fives. This one we call the Low Fives because this video covers 5 important ways to protect your lower back. The lower back is a vulnerable area that requires special attention to spare you painful injuries that can affect your lifestyle for the rest of your life. Follow the Low Fives every time you pick something up and put it down. Number 1. To pick up an object that is on the floor or lower than the level of your waist, keep your back straight and bend at your knees and hips. Do not bend forward at the waist with your knees straight. This puts too much pressure on the hinge in your lower back. Instead, use a position called the shortstop. This is the same stance that a baseball shortstop takes. Your weight should be balanced on both feet, and they should be at least shoulder width apart. As you bend down to get a grip on the load, use your leg muscles as much as possible. Slightly bend forward at the waist, but keep your back straight. Number 2. Never twist while under load. Your body is not designed to do this, and it often results in injury. Your back muscles meet at your lower spine. When you lift and twist, it puts tremendous pressure on discs in the small part of your lower back. Do this once too often, even with a light weight, and you're asking for trouble in the form of a painful, possibly lifelong injury. Turn your feet. Do not twist at the waist. Twisting with a load in your arms takes your spine out of alignment, and that hurts. Number 3. Before lifting, carefully assess the load. How heavy is it? Does it exceed your personal limitations? Is it too bulky to lift and carry carefully? How far is the load from your body? Can you get close enough to avoid straining? What kind of forces will you have to put on your entire body to get the load up in your arms? Will it involve pulling or twisting? How often are you going to be lifting loads like this? Is your body ready? Muscles and tendons loose and warmed up? Don't skip on an assessment that takes little more than a few seconds. Number 4, posture. Always keep your back as straight as you can. Slouching or curling your spine weakens the spine and all its support structures. When you are sitting down, tighten your stomach muscles to keep you from slouching. Center your head between your shoulders and don't let it hang forward. Practice keeping your chin up. This will help you center your head. The average adult head weighs about 10 pounds. To get an idea, go pick up a 10-pound bag of sugar or a 10-pound bowling ball. That's a lot of weight on your spine, and poor posture puts a lot of pressure all the way down to the base of your spine. Keep good posture all the time, at work, at home, anywhere. It will keep your back stronger. Number 5, most back problems develop over time, and when the big injury comes, it's usually the result of many, many small injuries. Over the years, we tend to exceed the capabilities of our muscles, tendons, ligaments, and most important, those vital discs that make up our spine. Lower back injuries can be avoided, but they require you to follow safe lifting rules all the time, not just once in a while. It doesn't matter where you are lifting or moving something, a box at work, a piece of furniture at home, putting a bag of groceries into your car. All can cause tiny tears and traumas to your spine if done incorrectly. Follow safe lifting rules for your whole life and you will have a healthy back for a lifetime.